are given an opportunity to not stay in the child's place, who are given an opportunity to speak about issues that pertain to them, but nobody really thought it was necessary to get their feelings on it. This is the same team that told a group of educators in Virginia, where I'm from, that teacher pay for performance was a good idea. And they had to explain why. The same group of students was able to go to Washington, D.C. at Howard University to debate an exhibition with that great team. That same team went to Wiley College, the home of the great debaters, stood on that historic campus and spoke like champions for education. My name is Jeff Day. I'm a product of Detroit Public Schools, proudly, and I'll say it again, and again, and again, and I'm an advocate for those in public school education, for the overlooked, the underserved, and for those that we have so much to say about, but not a lot of resources to give them. I'm a student mentor. Now, some people say, well, what is that? Student mentor. My job as a student mentor is to be in the school for the students. Some people might call it maybe the position of a dean, maybe. But my job is to make sure that those kids aren't kicked out of school. My job is to make sure that we're serving those kids to the best of our ability. My job is to be the face that they can look at and recognize as somebody that understands where I'm from, that can decode my language, that won't judge me, and that our school system said we need him and more in schools. That's right. Educator, Mr. Cedric Williams, he now works for Wake County Schools. Any Wake County folks in here? Okay, thank you, all two of you for coming. We need to talk to somebody about your seats in the back. He wanted me to let you know that not only was it necessary at Westside Elementary in Roanoke, Virginia, but it's necessary everywhere that we have student mentors in place for our children in the schools that they're going to. He saw me in the schools, and I'm not a traditional educational person. I majored in broadcast journalism, believe it or not. Really thought I was going to be on the news. Don't laugh, that's my dream. But when I realized that I could take my same skills, my gifts, and my talents, and then invest them in the lives of children who have their whole futures ahead of them, I jumped at that opportunity. And I just feel like if more young people understood that they have a place in education, even though they don't have an education degree, how much better would our children be? How much better would our children be with people who actually want to serve them, with people who actually want to be there? Now, I'm off my soapbox, and that's not why they brought me here, but I do want to thank North Carolina for having me. I want to thank the great leadership of this organization. I also want to thank Ramona Miller. Give her a hand. She worked really hard to get me here, and then once I got here, she called me Jeremy 8 times. I thought I wouldn't say it too many times. I've been called Jeremy. Was it Jeff Ray? Jeremy Ray? Was it? Jeff Ray. My name's Jeff May. I'm originally from Detroit, as I said, and when I got down here in the South, someone magically put an S on my name. Jeff May. So it became Jeff Mays. I took it. You know, a long time ago, my grandmother said, it's not what people call you, it's what you answer to. And I still believe that today. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I promise you, I need to promise you 3 things. I'm allergic to boring presentations. I have a problem with standing still, as you see. And this is a very big stage, so I will be out of breath by the time this whole thing is over. But I'm here today to talk about incentive programs. So one of the incentive programs that we have at Westside Elementary is a debate team. How many people know that young people have no problem with talking? Okay, let me rephrase it. They have no problem telling you what's on their mind. And you didn't ask them what's on their mind. You just asked them, how was your day? And they begin to tell you what's on their mind and what they think. Any educators ever encountered that student that knew more than you? Definitely. They only been on earth 7 years, but they're an expert in everything. You went to school. Didn't matter. They're the expert. We wanted to take that same skill set. We wanted to take that same ability and put it to constructive use. So we said, these kids already argue. They know how to argue. Let's teach them how to debate. Let's put a title on it and see how far they can get. We'll go to the next slide. At Westside, I don't have mine. Do I have it? Here we go. There we go. At Westside, it was already stated we have 800 students. I got an email today, it's up to 802. You see what they do when I'm away? And it's not those 800 that'll get you, it's the two. It's the two. But there's some numbers aside from our population that are very important to us. 90% free and reduced lunch. We all know what that means, correct? We all know what that means. So therefore, my frame of thinking when I go to work has to be different. Teachers, when they go into the classroom, their frame of mind and their frame of thinking has to be different. Because Johnny didn't turn his homework in, we may need to investigate. Where's Johnny's father? Did Johnny eat? Where was Johnny's mom? Is she back home? Who checked Johnny's homework? Who can read at Johnny's house? Instead of giving him an F, I need to do some research. I need to do some research. See, at Westside Elementary, we don't use these numbers to make excuses. We use these numbers to raise expectations.
All right. Yes.
When you raise expectations, you accept no excuses. When I look into a child's eyes and I can tell them, I understand your mom's not there, mine wasn't there either. What are we going to do about it? And they look back at me and they say, well, I want to make it. Or they look back at me and they say, I want better than what my mother had. I want better than what my father had. So what I had to do was keep it real with those students. And I had to take those numbers and raise their personal expectations. When you talk about a debate team and what it can do for children, it just doesn't give them an opportunity to talk in front of people. It gives them an opportunity to think critically about the world they live in, to think outside the box. I'm very grateful for curriculum. I'm grateful for people that's ready. You ready to clap? I feel you. Just stay with me. I'm very appreciative of curriculum, but there are certain things that these young people are going to have to learn that they won't find in a book. Okay, maybe I'm alone by myself there. I understand you want to make a pretty penny off the books you're giving, but if you're not going to tell the truth in the books, then I need to give them the truth in life.
Amen.
And maybe we can raise up authors that are going to write some true books and some true textbooks. Okay, maybe I'll be all that. Okay. We wanted kids a part of this debate team and a part of these incentive groups that had an edge. Take a look at that. How many people know children with an edge? And we've got other words we say. Right. We've got other titles we use. But we all know those pleasant children that we wake up and we think about. A few come to my mind right now. I won't say the name because I don't think I can. Savon Carter. He was a young man. He was a young man that had an edge. He was so much so on the edge that he would stand on the edge of his table and tell the teacher he knew more than her. Oh yes, stand on top of the table. No was in his vocabulary. So he got 4 grades. He was always out of school. Mom was always in the superintendent's office. And Savon had it in his mind that he was not going to do anything he didn't want to do. Does that sound familiar to anybody in this auditorium? So you know some Savon Carters in your life, right? I heard one teacher tell me we need to get him out of here. An educator said to me, Mr. May, I don't know if you can mentor him. His mother was like that. His brother did the same thing. And he's on his road to do the things that they were doing. I'm not an educator. I'm an agitator of breaking the cycle. That young man needed to break. That young man needed to say, I know my mama was. I know my dad didn't. But I can. I took that same young man into my office and I said, you know, we're starting a debate team, but I don't know. your grades aren't too good, and, you don't listen too well. And I think you could do it, but, you don't want to listen to anybody. So I guess I'll have some students who may not be as smart as you participate, get some shine, and then you can just watch them if you choose to be in school that week. He looked at me and said, "What's the debate?" I said, "Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. Debate is just an opportunity for you to argue and not get in trouble." I know I got that wrong. I told you I'm not a traditional educational. I'm just not. I said, you can argue and you won't have to get in trouble. He said, "You mean I can say whatever I want to say?" I said, "No, Savon, you can't say what you He said, "Savon, you have to fight with your words. Instead of standing on the table, raise your voice. Don't yell. Show people what's in here. Prove them wrong because they're assuming that you can't do it." And I told him everything that debate would do, how it would allow him to travel, it would allow him to stand up in front of a room full of adults and be important. And he said, "I get to argue and not get in trouble?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Where do I sign up?" I said, "You don't sign up. You don't sign up. Sir, you have to have self-respect. You have to follow the rules. You have to be academically eligible and behaviorally eligible." I gave him choices. Structure was already set in place. The only thing missing was Savon's total buy-in. But the only thing that Savon wanted to do was argue and not get in trouble. This young man became one of the best debaters we've ever had. The best debater we've ever had. He went to the Town Journal Morning Show and they loved him. And for some reason, I didn't get a whole lot of feedback from the teacher that wanted him out of it. You see, instead of kicking our kids out, what do we do to push them into their destinies? What do we have set up in our schools and our districts that will give a Savon an opportunity to be seen? Not only did he do well debating, but Savon became a straight A student. That's where the class should happen. Savon began to live up to the expectation, the high expectation that we set for him. And he didn't take no for an answer. He had to turn some things around in his life. The best thing that I know about Savon, and the greatest story that I have about him, is that Savon didn't grow up with his father. But when we were getting ready to go to Wiley College and visit the Town Journal Morning Show, he came with not just his mother to the airport, but with his father too, who had drove all night long to get there to see his son get on the airplane. And for Savon, before he even got on the plane, his dream had come true. His dad was in his life supporting him for something good. Something good. And for me, debating is not in my background. Talking is. Thank you for the clap. Thank you so much. But thinking critically was always something I was into, even when it wasn't popular when I grew up in Detroit. We want our kids to think outside the box. We all know that our kids sometimes get trapped into our ramifications of our curriculum. Think only up to this point. Don't overthink it. That's the answer. Stop right there. Oh, wait a minute. I don't want to talk about that right now because we have to move on. But when you get kids rolling and you get them thinking outside the box, parents call me and say, "Mr. May, I don't know what you've done, but I can't have a civilized conversation with my child because I realize they're thinking above me." So now you have two problems. I want to tell you what the first one is, but the second one's a good one. If you can imagine what these young people are like now at 10 years old, can you imagine where they'll go at 18, 25, 30? For us, debate and incentive programs was an investment. And the goal behind what we wanted to do at Westside is we wanted to give kids an opportunity to speak in public with confidence. How many people in here have a fear of speaking in public? Okay, all right. So everybody's brave. Until a mic is in your hand. Everybody can do it until you're up on the stage and everybody's looking at you, wondering what you're going to say. In our very initial debate meetings, I have a room full of young people who are nominated by their teachers. Teachers have to nominate them, so teachers have to actually know their students. I don't do it for you. You should know the potential that lies in your own student. You should be able to tell me, Mr. May, they're ready. I've been watching this student. I've been experiencing their on-the-edge behavior, and I think this may be good for them. We wanted them to be able to get up and not stutter, not stammer. I go into that room and I say, how many of you have a fear of speaking? And every hand goes up. And then I tell them, I don't care. Because we all have fears. But is it going to stop you from doing what I asked you to do? And they say, no, sir. Then it shouldn't. I tell them to hide behind the intellect. Hide behind the courage that it took to get up, because some adults can't do it. And the confidence that it fosters within these young people is truly amazing. We want them to learn how to disagree, if you know that. Again, people are not going to agree, are we? We're not going to agree. But some people are better at arguing than some, aren't they? People know how to argue, don't they? And sometimes we wonder why our kids do what they do, but you have to kind of look at it a little bit. Where do they learn it from? Right. Parent-teacher conferences are always a great thing. Because I love when parents say, I don't know where they got that from. Mr. Johnson, he cusses like a sailor in my classes. I don't know where he gets that from. He told me he got it from you. When we look at arguing with kids, fighting, bullying, not being able to work out their situations and their problems, we see that there's a lack of being taught there. They have to be taught how to do that. We don't teach them not to disagree. We teach them that you can disagree and still be respectful. You can disagree and still sound intelligent. You can disagree and still come to a common ground at 10 years old, so that you're not 40 and unbearable. Okay, sorry. Apologize. We also promote something that's very key. Personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. These young people have to memorize their quotes. They have to do their own research. They have to monitor their own behavior. They have to be committed to the cause. They have to be responsible for their decisions. Believe it or not, these young people say, Mr. May, instead of going to recess, we much rather practice debate. You know, recess is a coveted thing in school. Adults would like recess at work, I do believe. They just don't offer it everywhere. But these young people, instead of going outside for recess for 30 minutes and eating their lunch for an additional 15, 20 minutes, they much rather eat their lunch in 10 minutes and then use the rest of the time to practice debating, to research their arguments, to perfect their skills. That's the commitment that a 10-year-old made to something that's keeping them in school. Can I add that these young people have perfect attendance? Because they want to be in school. They're putting the pressure on their parents to get there on time, because I had some tardy situations. But now parents are having a fight in the morning because a child is waking the parent up saying, Mom, get up! I've got to get to school on time. I never forget it. A parent came to me and said, Mr. May, I've got a bone to pick with you. My child doesn't say yes, sir, and no, sir to me. Doesn't look me in the eye. But he says he does that for you. I said, sir, you have two problems. One, you need to establish who you are in your house. Second, you didn't, I know, right? Second, you didn't set the expectation. Because there's an element of choice there where if he will do it for me, it should be no reason he shouldn't do it for you. But when parents come to me and they say, Mr. May, I'm having trouble at home, then that means that that child can't practice that day. You didn't turn your homework in. You can't practice that day. You gave the teacher some issues. Oh, you can't practice with us that day. And if you keep it up, you might not go to the performance. Now that may sound mean, right? How many people know that's life? And I much rather them abide by these rules than go to a penitentiary and have no choice. So if they can make a personal commitment to self-monitor themselves, that's what I love. Nobody has to watch out for them, they watch out for themselves. I had a young person just yesterday bring me his shirt. I do a step team too. Any fraternity and sorority people out there? That's right. I've been abused all weekend by some guys that wear purple. But look who has the microphone now. Alpha man has the microphone now.
I'm sick.
So when you guys are shooting, man, we're picking on you, sir. These universities and colleges get a kick out of us sending these young people to their step shows, 10 years old, with looks on their faces, stepping with precision. And they look real mean and tough. And they're good, really good. But they're A students too. They have great citizenship too. They're mentors and they're tutors. They do community service. It's not about what they're doing, it's about what they're becoming. Sometimes we put a lot of emphasis on our baby and what they're doing. Look at my baby. I'm so proud. Well, what kind of individual is your baby? It's a hard conversation to have with parents say, listen, they're real successful, but I don't know how to tell you. They're a jerk. I tried to find some words to use the way I'm talking about. They're not a good person. How can we work on their character? And the parent told me, Mr. Man, get A's and B's. We can work on their character later. I said, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. How they start is how they're going to finish. I know a lot of smart people in the penitentiary. They're real smart. So smart they choose to be there. Come on, somebody. It don't make sense, does it? Let's work on their overall character now. It's not about doing good things. It's about being a good person. And some people say, well, that work goes on at home. No. Have you ever seen what goes on at a home? We change more lives than the people that live in their house. We change more lives. We affect more change. We have more influence. We can think of a teacher right now. We can think of a teacher right now that says this. Can you see it? Him or her? That told you about yourself, that told you the truth, that pushed you, that said you're better than that. That's what we specialize in, raising the expectations and taking away the excuses. I know where they live. I know that 74% are minority. I know that 90% are below the poverty line. But it does not indicate where they will end up. And that's the message of hope that we tell those young people every single day they come into our doors. And for us, we talked about a whole lot of things. But think about the mentality of a child who's told to stay in a child's place. Don't talk about that yet. That's a little bit above you. How do we know what's above them unless we go there? The biggest tool that we can ever use is the tool of keeping it real for our young people. And as a student mentor, I feel like I'm close enough to where they're from and to where they are to be able to relate. We all can, but it's about hiring people in your school systems, in your district, and in your school buildings that are invested like that. That's why they're there. My job are the lives of those young people. That's my job. And for us, the rewards have been great. National Magna Awards, syndicated radio. We were just on recently Roland Martin Show, which was a great opportunity for those kids. When you see young people being able to go through an interview like a champ, you know you're doing something right. When they're not afraid of crowds and they're not afraid of TV cameras or tough questions, and they can stand up there and make a whole city proud. You can just imagine the pride of their parents. Can you see the parents? The pride that happens in a school, in a district, because these young people took the whole city of Roanoke with them to Texas, the whole city of Roanoke with them to D.C., and they'll take the whole city of Roanoke to Temple University when they go this summer. But for us, the success lies within the personal pride, what happens with the family. I told you about Savon Carter and his family, increased attendance, program expansion. We started this debate team years ago with just one elementary school. Now we're at 4 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, and 2 high schools. What that means is, this year, I had the privilege of coaching kids I coached when they were in 5th grade. Now they're incoming freshmen. That's huge for me. It continues now that I can have those kids, and now we can create a new cycle. A new cycle of success and of expectations. Right now, I want you all to close your eyes. Before you do that, take a look to your left and your right. Do that for me. Because if anything goes missing, you understand. You heard of a trust exercise, right? Do you trust the people? Trust them enough not to put your hands in your pocket and do this. So go ahead, take a good look, left and right. Right there, some of them are wearing name tags, so that's good. You know who they are, where they're from. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. It's safe. Go ahead. And I want you to see this student. His name is Ahmad. And if you close your eyes long enough, you'll be able to hear his voice.
My name is Ahmad. I am 10 years old and I am from Tanzania on the continent of Africa. I now live in Wilmington, Virginia. Have you ever been on a big brown stage to perform in front of a lot of people? Were you scared, shy, or nervous? Or was it just fun? Well, that's how I felt when I had my first debate performance in front of a whole school cafeteria filled with a lot of people and students. I had my first debate performance at my school's nice cafeteria at Westside Elementary School. I had to perform in front of at least 700 people who filled up our whole cafeteria. We had to get on a big round stage in front of a whole lot of people. So I was very shy and scared. I also had to wear a special outfit that had a W on the right side, which stands for our school, Westside Elementary. Also had to practice and pray in 2 languages. That is very hard to do when you are in front of a big crowd filled with a lot of grown-ups. I had to speak about education and how I feel about it, which made it even harder. The debate performance was important to me because it was in front of my own home crowd, which was scary because you don't want to look bad in front of your own home crowd. It was my first performance, so it was very scary because I didn't know if they were going to like me and my speech. I also practiced and practiced and practiced to get better and better at my speech about education. It was very tough to speak in front of my friends and family. My very funny and cool classmates were involved in the debate, so I couldn't get scared or get shy. Jaquarius is great at speaking in front of a lot of people. Michael is very good at speaking with great feelings, and he also had to speak in 2 languages just like me. Alexandra was shy at our first meeting, but has a strong voice, and when we had our first performance, she spoke with great feeling. She also had to perform her part in 2 languages just like Michael and me. Kamani is very good at speaking with great passion. Jordan speaks with great strength and style. All of us speak with passion and power. My first debate performance was a special event because I had a lot of fun speaking about education in front of my family, friends, and school.
The students were asked to write about an event in their life that changed their lives. This young man chose to write about his first debate. Told this young man, you know 2 languages, don't you? He said, yes, sir. But I'm embarrassed to speak my language because no one will understand. So not only will you speak your language, but you're going to debate about the benefits of bilingual education in public schools. You and your Spanish-speaking teammates. How many of us know a lot of our young people read mail when they go home because the parents can't read English? They translate at home. We pay people really good money to do what they do for free every day. But they're embarrassed of their native tongue, some of them, especially when you talk about elementary school, because nobody else is speaking what they're speaking at home. But these young people got up and showed and really gave a piece of themselves to a crowd at 10 and 11 years old. And I think that's fantastic. That's a part of the success that we're talking about. Okay? So for us, allowing these young people to believe in themselves, develop a purpose. If they don't have a vision, they're going to perish. They have to establish a vision. We've got to keep them to it. That's what our program is about. They have no other choice but to succeed. All the work we do is nothing if they don't believe it. If we don't motivate them to believe what we're talking about, then we're just talking. We're just talking. And I don't want to waste a moment that I have them in front of me. I want to take every opportunity to make sure that they know how special they are, who they are, where they're from, and that nobody can stop them. That's what we need to do. These are all of the activities we do at Westside. Some are off the list because we just couldn't fit them all on there. But if you look at the Boys to Men program, today is Tuesday, correct? Right. There are 350 boys at Westside Elementary that wore shirts and ties to school today because they wanted to. All right. Some of you didn't want to put it on today. Our Boys and Men program is a developmental program, and I'm just about finished. It's a developmental program that we have at Westside Elementary because we have 800 students. 450 of them are young men. We have 350 young men participating in this Boys and Men project. People come in and talk to these young men, mentor these young men, have workshops and sessions with these young men. And Tuesday is the day we designate for ties. But a funny thing began to happen. They wore them on Thursday, and on Friday, and on Wednesday. And then I had a parent call and say, Mr. May, when is Tie Tuesday? Ma'am? What's the exact date for Tie Tuesday? If you say it one more time, ma'am, I think you'll get it.